Marc here from Marc and Cars. Welcome back to the channel. Been a few weeks now that I've owned the Yaris and I'm loving it, but it's not without its flaws, so I thought I would do a short video of the 5 things I love and the 5 things I don't about my GR Yaris. Firstly, it's a base model. If you've not watched my collection video, I'll link it below, or it might be up here somewhere above me on the screen. Okay, off the bat, what do I love? Performance, engine, gearbox combo, amazing. Look, it is very surprising every time I get in it still. The 3-cylinder turbo punches out here for the Australian spec cars a better part of what, 284 horsepower I think it is. I'd have to double check the numbers, I'm not that sure on the details. 0 to 100 around 5 seconds. I know they've said it's higher than that, but from the few stopwatch runs I've done, it is definitely a lot closer to 5 and into the high 4s than it is, you know, just on the 5.4 or whatever it is that they're claiming. The gearbox, so it's a bit notchy, but there's no misunderstanding as to what gear you're in. It is very much a sports car gearbox, which is a great feeling. The torque is it's almost indistinguishable turbo lag in the car, which most modern turbos are like that anyway, but yeah, it's a great feeling, very solid piece of kit. Love it. Next thing I love, the steering feel is, the feedback is amazing. For a car at this price point, as you viewers would know if you've watched any of my previous videos, I get the opportunity to drive some pretty nice cars. And the steering, the feedback and the feel in the corners, that type of thing, it's as good as a lot of sports cars that are 2 or 3 times a car's price. So yeah, steering is amazing. Steering wheel itself is the right size and grips, all that sort of thing. Yeah, spot on for the car, and the power steering weighting is spot on. Initially in my first video I said it drives like a front wheel drive car. It doesn't actually. It's a much more balanced feel in the steering, and I think initially it felt like that because how short the car is, the wheelbase, and how it rips around corners, so it really turns. Add to that the steering I also associate with the driving position, which has had a lot of criticism from people that test the car and taller owners. As a shorter owner, love it. It's I've got great visibility. The pedals are in the right place. I'm very happy with it, and I've always liked the rally car style position in a car. The whole sit up a bit higher and see what's going on compared to the sports cars where you're down, bottoms dragging on the ground. Next thing I love, suspension and brakes. The suspension, they've done a fantastic job. It's a very comfortable car. For just normal driving around, it's don't get me wrong, it's stiff. It's no limousine, but considering its wheelbase and what the car's designed for, the suspension is very comfortable, but still very little body roll around the corners. So yeah, great job Toyota on the suspension. Brakes, I don't even know what to say about them. They're incredible. Even when I've been getting on it, no fade, no misunderstanding. Probably the biggest criticism I've got out of the brakes is when you brake too hard, it puts on your hazard lights, and that is a pain in the bottom if you're late braking. So I'm sure it's going to be a complete nightmare on the track when I do finally get it on there. But small price to pay, because those brakes, they are monsters. Like the rotors are bigger than, I reckon, what a stock Yaris's wheels are there. Yeah, the brakes are amazing. What are we up to? Number 4, the styling of the car. I do like it a lot. I love how it's got that overbuilt, pumped up look. It's in all reality like a young man at the shopping centre who's probably around the age of 10 pointed out to me the other day, it looks like a grown-up's Hot Wheels car, and I think it does too. And I really like that. I like the whole low roof line, pumped guards, massive front on the car. Yeah, I do like it. And part of the styling to me is the noise. Now, another big criticism from reviewers has been the piped in exhaust noise, which, look, I reckon it's okay. I think it's a pretty good sound into the car. Would I fit a performance exhaust? Yeah, I probably would if it did offer more performance, but the fact the car doesn't create a lot of outside noise means the car, whilst looking, it does look mildly antisocial, doesn't sound antisocial. So, really, unless it's for a known performance gain, I don't think I'll be fitting a performance exhaust, but we'll see in time to come how that goes. And the final thing I like about the car is, look, it is very unique because there just aren't that many of them here in Perth. Don't get me wrong, they're not like, there's not 4, there's plenty of them. There's probably 50 or 60 cars in Perth. I'm guessing that number, by the way. But in a city this size, you just don't see that many of them. So their uniqueness is quite nice. And, no one looks at this Yaris as the same sort of Yaris that does the Domino's pizza deliveries. You can be rest assured of that. So, it's, I guess, exclusivity on the road is a great feature that I love of this car. I do like the noise it makes. What don't I like about the car? Look, I really had to think pretty hard about this because there's a lot to like, so but it does have its shortcomings. I'm not going to talk about the size of the car because no one buys a car this size thinking there's some TARDIS in the back with some magical boot space that, somehow appears whenever you get in it. So, I'm not going to talk about the back seat, the height of the roof at the back, for passengers, how little the boot is. I don't care about all that stuff. It's not why I bought the car. But what I really have found wanting on this car is, first and foremost, the infotainment system. The head unit, whilst it's up quite high, actually doesn't obstruct vision because I see the bottom of the windscreen above it. So even if it was sat in the dash, it wouldn't make any difference. But the actual screen itself, it's a debacle. It's terrible resolution. This is their new Toyota system too, and on a car of this price, I know you don't buy a car like this for its infotainment system, but if this car didn't have CarPlay or Android Auto, the infotainment system would be a complete failure. That's all I can say about it. The screen is very laggy when you use the touchscreen features, but it's also got buttons down each side, which makes it confusing. Do I use a button? Do I touch the screen? All round, it's just mediocre at best. The quality of this infotainment system is not as good as about a 2013 Volkswagen product. That's to give you some insight. Now, had I bought a new, let's say a brand new Land Cruiser Prado, which has exactly the same system in it, and that car probably costs close to $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 Australian, depending on your specifications, I'd be pretty dark about it, knowing that a $20,000 Hyundai has a 10 times better system. Anyway, that's enough of that. Oh, and also, it's got one USB port, so if your passenger wants to charge something, they've got to use the 12-volt socket with an adapter. Silly. Give us 2 outlets. There's plenty of space on the console here. And add to that the fact that you've got to use CarPlay or Android Auto so that you can get any use out of this thing, because, like I said, it's not very useful. You've sort of got a tray to sit your phone in underneath the vents there, but you've got the cord's below the climate controls, or the socket's below the climate controls, so you've got a cord that's going to run across the climate controls all the time. They should have just put it right where they put a place for you to put your phone in. Anyway, that's the infotainment system. Along not too dissimilar lines, next thing I don't like about the car, the steering wheel buttons. It's busy. There's a lot going on here. I've got a toggle on either side. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 buttons and 2 toggles on my steering wheel. It's just too much going on. It's I don't know, a lot of it's doubled up. The volume controllers on the steering wheel, just quickly back to the infotainment, but the volume knob to turn is on the driver's side. Surely it would have been more logical to have it on the passenger side, because the driver can do it on the steering wheel. And in fact, the knob and the steering wheel buttons are that far apart from each other. for the volume. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot going on the steering wheel. Too much, in my opinion. This is a driver car. Unnecessary. Brake dust. Now, it's got black wheels. I actually find black wheels probably harder to keep clean than silver when it comes to brake dust, because it sticks out like a sore thumb. And these could very well be the dustiest brake pads I've ever known on a car. Brakes are amazing, don't get me wrong, as I mentioned earlier, but the amount of dust these things pump out, drive around the block after giving the car a clean, the wheels look like you haven't even touched them. So, if you've watched any previous videos, you know I've got a set of white KUOE wheels going on this car, so that will 100% test my patience on the brake pads. I think in all likelihood I'll upgrade these brake pads to endless or something like that that are more powerful, better bite and less brake dust. But I'll worry about that when I get to it. The plastics in the car. There's no getting around the fact this is a Toyota Yaris. All the touch points around the car, with the exception of the steering wheel and the gear shifter, the important ones, are a pretty nasty plastic. There are hard plastics and soft plastics around the car, and the soft plastics, while tolerable, are not to the quality of the soft plastics you get in a German car. I actually think if they offered like a $5,000 upgrade to have all the touch points, dash, door tops, handles, done in leather, like Eurocar options, I'd pay it. It would make a big difference to the feel of the quality of their car. It's one of the shortcomings, but that's typical in the homologation style rally cars. Like you get in a WRX STI, you get in an old Evo, something like that, you know you're getting in a base model car that's been souped up, and that's the case here too. And I get it, that the money on the car that you're paying for is in the technology and the performance, not the touch and feel of everything in the car. But in this day and age, you can ask for everything, can't you? It doesn't mean you'll get it. And the final thing I don't like about this car, it's actually the first thing I did, the performance. It is always tempting to make your heads-up display tell you you're over the speed limit. It is a fast car by any metric. You get out of anyone that gets in this car is surprised by its performance, and that means you spend a lot of time driving out and in second and third. Look, don't get me wrong, you can drop it in fourth, fifth and sixth, but you end up a long way down the rev range. And sure, there's plenty of torque in the motor, but you know the car really sings over 4,000 or 5,000, so you tend to end up sitting around there, and it's a lot more fun. But yeah, the performance can be somewhat of a challenge. So they're the 5 things I love and don't love about this car. Would I recommend this car to someone? If you're a driver enthusiast, this is a great car. So if this is at the limit of your budget, wholeheartedly. I don't know another car at this price point, brand new, that would give you a comparable experience at the moment. I know there's the Hyundai i20N that's coming to market quite soon, and that'll be quite similar, but it is a front-wheel drive car, not a four-wheel drive car, I believe. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong there. I did drive a new i30 the other day, a 2021 model, and that is spec'd to have the same features as this car, very similarly priced. So I found the exhaust on that bordering on obnoxious, and a lot of torque steer because it's a front wheel drive car, and not as torquey as this car. So I actually think this is a better car than that. And you know, the new Golf GDIs and R products, like GDI front wheel drive, the R is a four wheel drive, they're a lot more money than this car. And you know, but you do also get your Volkswagen quality and finishes, which would definitely add value to the car, or add that value to the car. Yeah, so I think this is a cracker. I'm very happy with it. I've got plenty of mods coming, which I'll share with you guys. We've got some great partners with the channel who I'll list at the end of the video, so please think about supporting them if you are in the market for a product that they sell. And so yeah, thank you very much for watching today, and please share the video anyone who you think might like it. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching Marc and Cars.